in this video, probably going to do the most scariest thing that I'm going to actually do with this build. Something that I haven't ever done before, and I've already done a little bit of testing with it, but it's something that's got to be done to make these certain things work. So gonna go ahead and reveal to you what the little extra thing is that I'm gonna be putting on this car, just because I'm one of those kind of guys. I'm a car guy, so just kind of wanted to do something that was a little bit better, a little bit of an upgrade for the car itself. So here it is. We're actually going to put some headers on this thing. But before I do this, I've got some drilling and thread tapping to do, and some cutting to do, because these are those $100 headers that you can get from eBay. I figured, why not? Why not go ahead and get some of those and put it on here while I've got the motor out? Because you can't do this when the motor's in the car. It's pretty much impossible. If you do, I mean, you can put the headers on. Yeah, you can put the headers on inside the car, but you're not going to be able to get in there and drill out on the head, retap the holes to run new nuts and studs to keep them from leaking. They're going to leak because of the way the head is made with the other manifolds. So right now what I'm about to do is punch each one of these holes that does not have a place for a stud, and go ahead and punch them while it's on here, so I know exactly where the center of it, close to the center, is going to be, so I can actually put these headers on and feel confident that they're at least not going to leak from here. I've done headers and stuff before on V8s, and you know, I always enjoyed putting them on the V8s and, you know, getting the sound difference out of them, getting rid of the cats and all that weight and everything else. So with this is new for me, on actually having to punch, drill, and thread holes for headers. I don't understand why BMW didn't do all 4 holes for each individual cylinder, but that, you know, that's BMW engineering, so they do it the way that they do it for a reason. I'm just going to kind of change the game up a little bit here with this. So what I want to also show you is, on the old head, I went ahead and tested and did these 2 holes here. I threaded these. I punched them, drilled them, and threaded them. And the bolts, or the studs, I'd say, work just as well as they should. So I'm going to show you one of the studs. This is a brand new stud. I bought new studs. I bought extra studs for the other holes that I've got to drill from FCP Euro, and so this is the first hole that I did, and it was done with the drill bit that I used was a 15/64, and it didn't seem to. It's not where I want it to be. It's a bit loose, and I felt like I was gonna end up stripping that whole area out, because the hole had so much play. And what I did with this tape, the reason I have tape on this stud is because you have to make sure that you don't drill too far into the head. This is just something that, you know, you have to do just to be cautious, because if you drill too far in the head, you're going to have issues, and you could run into whatever. You know, you could puncture a hole into it to where it doesn't need to have flow, and then you're screwed. So, and how I know to do this, a shout out to Nathan at Nathan's Garage. I think it's Nathan's BMW Workshop or BMW Garage. He's the one that gave me this idea. Shout out to him, because I probably wouldn't be doing this if he hadn't already made a video about it. I'm just doing this right now because I've got the motor out, and I kind of want to show you guys, you know, this can be done for a BMW Z4 as well, because I mean, I'm gonna get a better sound out of it and everything. But here's some new studs. I've got new studs and new copper nuts that I got from FCP Euro. I've already picked out the thread taps that I'm going to use. They are, and of course I found this out from Nathan as well. There's 7 M7s by 1, and the 1 of course is a thread pitch. I got 2 different ones. I got a starter one, the plug tap. I've got a plug tap in that M7 by 1, and I've also got a bottom tap. What I want to do is run the M7 plug tap first, and then go back and run the bottom tap on it as well. So instead of using the 15/64 drill bit, I'm going to use a 13/64. And the reason that I say that is because this hole here on the bottom, I used a 15/64, and I've got a bit of a play there. But when I found a 13/64 and did this hole, it seems to be pretty tight. It seems to be not as loose around there, so you're getting more thread on the stud itself that's inside the aluminum head. Now when you look at one of the factory holes, this is a factory hole. It's just about the same. I mean, it's almost identical. So that's the reason that I'm gonna use a 13/64 instead of a 15/64 drill bit, because I don't want to run these up in there and then tighten down on the headers and then have the threads inside here strip out. So that's my personal opinion, and that's why I'm using that. So let's get started with this, so we can get this done and get this bad boy back in the car, because I'm tired of looking at the car sitting in my driveway and not getting to drive it, play in it, and I've got stuff everywhere in my garage. So try to find somewhere that I can sit you guys so you can watch everything. I may try to go get my little head mount and make that work. So matter of fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go inside, I'm going to get my head mount, and we're going to work off of my head mount so you can see every single thing that I'm doing. So give me just a second, I'm going to go get it, put it on my hat, and we'll continue this. Alright, so the first step that I want to go through is I'm going to use this so I can get, this is the punch. I'm going to use this to get to each bolt area that I need to go to punch out. Just seems to be a little easier to use than trying to hold that down there where the header's at, because it's so short. So there's that hole. want to make sure that it gets a good punch on it. It's a pretty good one. I think I'm going to get a smaller socket. Alright, so I'm just going to make it work because I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. I'm still going to drill the hole. I can just do a better job of lining it up where I need it. I need the hole to be punched. Yeah, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. I think it's because I got so much flex right here. So let me try a different extension and get rid of some of the play from when I hit it. Still gonna have some play there, but let's get a little bit more meat on it. Bit of a low hole. I don't like how low that hole is. I'm gonna try to get above it just a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to do this. So I don't have the perfect punch. But I am going to make sure that this works the way that it needs to freaking work. Can't be scared, guys. If you want to do this, you cannot be scared. Yeah, it's way too low. I need to hold just a bit higher than that. So what I'll do on these that I know that are just a bit low, I'm going to go back when I pull this header off and just go, you know, a couple, like a millimeter above it, just to make sure that I'll be drilling into the right, correct area. That's a good one. When they're up above, it's a lot easier to do this. When you're having to try to go in into an area that's angled, makes it a lot harder. Another good punch. I'm glad I don't have to do that one, but this one's going to be tough. much. Okay, so I've got the holes punched. I know which ones that I need to relook at. So I need to relook at this one on the bottom. I need to also relook at these two on this bottom. So get me a marker and just kind of mark for my own good where to look for it. There, here, and here. Need to go a little above that one. That one looks like it'll be all right. Definitely a little bit over on that one. So let's pull these off and see what we got. On my impact, where did I put it? There it is. Alright, gotta take this back one off first. Another thing that I'm going to do that I didn't mention a minute ago is I'm going to go through and I'm going to take this right here and separate on both of them, because I don't want any warpage. I want it to be flush for each one. I'll also show you this too. I'm going to go in, I'm going to take the Dremel and try to file all that out, because that looks awful. I mean, that's restricted right there. This one's kind of the same way. I mean, you get what you pay for in these. I'm just hoping that down in there it's welded good. The last thing I want to do is have that leaking after doing all this. So you're always going to find your weakest points. So all right, let's get this again. Now that I've got that off, I can look at what I need to do. I need to come up just a tad on this one, like right there. Do a good drill right there, drill bit there. This one I can now I'm gonna go back and look at these after doing this, because if you look, you can kind of see, not on this one so much, but on this one you can see that's at the edge of the hole. Or at least I can see it. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but so I'm gonna go right here and do that. Looks like we're good. Alright, so now I'm gonna just put the header back on there and recheck. Last thing I want to do is drill in there and then be off. so that's snug. Let me get my flashlight so I can check on that. So that one looks good now. That one does. That one's good. That one's good. And see, even these, like on the flanges, are not lining up correctly, just by a tad. And I'm thinking when I slit this, I'll have better maneuverability for the headers itself for each tube. Alright, so I've checked that one. That one's good. Let's check this other one. Alright. That one looks good. That one looks good. That one looks better. Alright, so let's do this shit.